Last week, I saw the film David Copperfield that stars Dave Patel. For everyone, this is not David Copperfield, the magician. This is the story of David Copperfield, Charles Dickens, the author, wrote. And they have been completely colorblind when casting. I thought that was really interesting because David Copperfield in the book was a Britisher, not an Indian. And there's many other examples. They have a black young lady in there, a Chinese man in there, and they're all playing Britishers. As actors, is that emancipating or liberating?
I mean, I think for me, it goes back to the material. I mean, if it's something about, like let's say for instance Hamilton. That play is immense in the way that it portrayed, and it did the blind casting, which worked out. But I think if you're talking about like historical figures, actual historical figures, yeah, I wouldn't want Gandhi portrayed by Ashton Kutcher in brownface or something like that. I think it goes back to the material. And the critics that I've been following, some of them did have an issue with the casting.
Kingsley was not Indian either, you know that, right?
Ben Kingsley.
I mean, you could argue about Poor in The Simpsons, The Voice, whatever, and like, Harvey Keitel made a whole documentary about that. I think it's split 50-50. Actually, I think it's more than 50-50. But I mean, it's a matter of perspective of what offends you. Like, what's your filter? I think everyone's got a different tolerance, and you've got to make that decision, whoever you are, whether you're an actor or non-actor.
I think it should just get to a point where we're not talking about it anymore. There should be enough. It should be normal. You know what I mean? Seeing, brown faces on mainstream America should just be so normal that we don't have to have a panel discussion about it. So it's just that I don't understand why every single time that happens, then we're like, wow, congratulations, Hollywood. Wow, you did well there. Wow, it's horrible. Let's normalize this to the point where, why is it that Big Bang Theory, they were just all like, you know what I mean? We need more of that, where it's just like, not like 6 white people and 1 Indian person, but you know what I mean? Like Indian, black, like color, whatever. It's just
Indians are like the Mexicans of like 10 years ago. Like we've gotten to a point, we've inched up a little bit, but we're not quite there yet, but we've slowly gotten somewhere in the mainstream. I mean, that's something. But
I was going to say, what I've been noticing from watching shows from the UK, South Asians are so prominent in it because they're so prominent in their community, and they're not cast to be the South Asian person. They're detectives, they're, love interests, they're colleagues, they're main people. They're not like, you see them and you get surprised. They're like, wow, they have so many South Asians, because it reflects their community. It reflects the environment that they're in. Here, like what Ayushi was saying, yeah, you'll have a whole cast of a show where one person will be South Asian, but then they're like, oh my God, look at our diverse show. Whereas, 99% of them are not. Or when they are South Asian, it's easy to pick up those South Asian themes, which are the stereotypes. Like, oh, let's do a story on the South Asian actor this week of arranged marriages or abusive father, or, stuff that's so typical of what comes with our community, which shouldn't be. Just, you should just cast us for us. But I will say that there are times on the commercial side where I know that most of my commercial bookings have been all ethnicities. It wasn't that I went in for the specific East Indian, South Asian role, which it's refreshing to see, when I get on set, my wife is of Asian descent or a Mexican American or whatnot. So commercial wise, I think
like that, right?
Yeah.
What ad was that? We can plug it.
I have a few, but there's been some for like Redfin, Nationwide, where I was opposite someone that is a total different race, but it wasn't even like, oh, let's put the brown guy with the white girl. It was just these two reflected what they wanted the messaging to be, and we booked them.
But I'm the OG. The OG wife is me.
Yes, for sure.
The on-screen wife.
I only accept other races when my on-screen wife
is unavailable.
Reshma, there was a time, like, I've been auditioning, I think, longer. And there was a time, like maybe 20 years ago, the only way you can get cast is if you look like a terrorist or cartoon character. Aziz, sorry. Okay, look, casting, I can go off. I'm just going to synopsize this really quickly. Like casting, they cast characters, especially in comedy. Like comedy characters are so powerful. If you look at like any like famous comedian on TV, like they want characters, especially the ethnic types. So coming up, you'd see a lot of Indians fulfill a certain niche, a certain look, right? So if you were too tall, I only got that note from my agent. They were like, you're too tall, you're too good looking. They went with some other guy. I went to the comic strip in New York. This is another story, but they passed a comedian over there because he looked more of a character over me. They were like, "You look like you should be working in business." This was years ago, but now it's different. Now you see Indians, who are dads, who are doctors. We've gone from being the doctor to the patient of the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So it's opened up for Indians a little bit.
I mean, it has opened up, Darren, but at the same time, you will see more Indian-centric shows or like brown people-centric shows on OTT platforms like Netflix or Amazon or whatever. It's mainstream America is still network shows. And please tell me, is This Is Us not all white or what? Like, or with with just maybe like one, with the exception of Sterling K. Brown, like other than that, who else is it? Like there's no Indian person in that show. So I'm just saying that like network television.
I was on the show before One Line. It's the one-liners that
I mean, like network television still does.
And you guys get paid more if you have a line as opposed to be silent, correct?
Well, that's just called background. But no, what Aishi's hinting at is like the principles are like, for instance, Modern Family as well. The principals are mostly all Caucasian with exception of one or two, but then for them that fills their diversity quota. And then the one-liners, which are like, called co-stars, sometimes they don't even have a name. You're like man one, or I've been an accountant or attorney, whatever. Those are just the one-liners that they try to get. You'll see at the auditions, I'm like, okay, they want to cast diverse for this because the rest of the cast is white and it'll look good on screen when they're like, oh, a person of color has appeared for the one line.
Thanks so much for being on. And you guys, we'd love to hear from you. So please comment right here. Join us on YouTube. And any closing thoughts, guys?
Yeah, just end on a positive. I think it's up to South Asians, instead of like griping about what's not there, we should be making our own stuff, collaborating. If you're not a writer, an actor, or a director, find someone, like make that content. Like we have a voice, like we're smart people, obviously. Like we should actually go out and create those roles and start a wave. Because you know what, a butterfly flaps in the wings, whatever creates a tornado across the country. I think South Asians can do that too. But it's work, and that's what we're good at.
Yeah, and regardless of everything we talked about, all those people out there that want to be artists and actors and singers, pursue it. Don't have a plan B, because if you have a plan B, that means you're willing for plan A to fail. So that's my go-to.
Ayushi, you have anything to say in the end?
No.
No? Okay. Well, thank you guys, my Showbiz India team, for joining me.
Hi, guys.
Subscribe to Showbiz India's YouTube channel and be sure to click on that bell icon for instant notifications.